So what's been going on in the Rocket League Sideswipe community for Season 7? Well, in this video, I'm going to be going through all of the recent posts and discussions in the community and giving my thoughts about them. This is episode 2 of Reddit Recap. Let's get into it. Before we start though, huge shout out to Big Exploding Donkey. The name is kind of funny, but a huge shout out to you, man. Thanks for sharing my video on the SP problem. He writes, the huge SP problem in Rocket League Sideswipe. Please implement a solution. I appreciate the fact that you kind of shared my video to the community and kind of made everyone aware about this. Taking a look at the first post, and that's by firm_flatworm7298, who posted 19 hours ago. Huge problem on Rocket League Sideswipe. And honestly, by what he wrote, I totally agree with him. I definitely think that SP is a big issue right now in the game. And the fact that they drastically reduced the SP to this extent is really crazy. Definitely demotivating for many of us to actually play, including myself actually. So all I can hope is that Saonix takes our feedback and tries to solve this problem with the SP and the tokens. So a post by JMKin3Y, who has actually gotten all the way till champ. 16 hours ago he writes, Rocket League is slacking, and he posts this video. So it looks like he's gotten the 10 tokens. And then it shows that he has 0. So this is actually a new glitch in the game where you actually collect the token from the rocket pass, but it doesn't show up. All you have to do is actually refresh the game and it will show up. I know that these kind of glitches are pretty frustrating, but then it's not really gone. You'll actually have it. You just have to refresh the game and it will show up. So Burnt Chicken Nugget 6, the kind of names people come up with is kind of funny. So 16 hours ago he writes, does anyone know if the dueling dragons in the aesthetic present can come painted? I would appreciate it. Okay, so as you can see, part of the aesthetic present is the dueling dragons from a previous season. And yes, the answer is yes, the dueling dragons can come in painted. And honestly, I think out of this particular present, the dueling dragons is the best one to get. The painted variants look so sick. And I can imagine there's some really lucky people out there who would manage to pull a black or white dueling dragons. Those people will then own probably the best looking goal explosion in the entire game. Honestly, at this point, I'm seeing one more post about the token and token shop, and I think it's pretty clear that the community is not happy with the way tokens were introduced in the game. So Late Sky 460 writes, a change needs to be made with the tokens and token shop. So I totally agree with everything this guy wrote. Honestly, I think it's way too hard to grind the tokens and something needs to be changed. So like the guy who commented below, I also think they need some time. I think we can't be too harsh because the update just released like a few days ago, and I think a few weeks is needed to kind of give them time to make changes. But I do expect them to make some changes within the next few weeks, because I think if they don't, then the community will be very unhappy. I think we have to kind of wait it out and see what Saonix does with all the feedback they're getting. Relative Camp 925 3 hours ago writes, guys, you gotta admit that this is the longest overtime in Sideswipe. 48 minutes of overtime is absolutely insane. Oh my god, that's probably the longest time I have personally ever seen. For context, the longest overtime I have personally experienced is like 3 to 4 minutes. But 48 minutes is just absolutely insane. That is crazy. I don't really know how he was even able to play for so long. What is interesting to me here is that the game did not get over. As you can see by the photo, the match is still in play. No one scored a goal till that point. So it would have actually surpassed 48 minutes. And I'm very curious to see how long the match actually lasted. Because as you can see in the comments, no one is actually mentioning that. But then I think this is pretty insane. And the screenshot timing is superb. The fact that you were able to screenshot it at 5 all 48 minutes and 48 seconds is pretty commendable. So a pretty insane overtime. I've never seen that before. A crazy example right here of how difficult it is to get these tokens. You have to win 10 matches just to get a single token. I mean, to be honest with you, even if it was to play 10 matches, it's still pretty bad. But to win 10 just to get a single token is just abysmal in my opinion. I mean, this needs to be changed really quickly. Now, if this was 10 tokens for 10 matches, I think that's more fair. And even that is actually on the lower side. So you can imagine how bad one token for 10 matches is. So Impressive Cat 1148 one day ago writes, 9 minutes 24 seconds overtime in threes. Was a pleasure, GG's. So one more example of a crazy overtime. I mean, 9 minutes for an overtime in threes especially is pretty crazy. I can't imagine how the losing team will feel after this. I mean, they'll be raging like anything. I'm pretty sure that if I was on the losing end, I would be like kind of destroying my phone. This caution 20 hours ago writes, decals won't work on my gold octane. So yeah, this is true in the game. Actually, normal decals won't work on the gold octane. Only black markets and exotics. It would have been super cool to have all the decals work on the gold octane, but I do really hope they change this, because it will be really cool to test out all the different designs with the gold octane if we could use all of our decals in our inventory. Freckled Flute _25 with a discussion. I am silver 5 so far. What about you? So currently I am also at silver 5, but eventually I'm sure we'll all be able to kind of push our rank, and hopefully you can also get to the higher tiers. So the one and only Beer Me Scotty, who is actually a very regular figure on the channel of Baby Yoda, because he grinds the game like anything. He's actually a GC and his account is absolutely insane. So he's giving us an idea about tokens and season boxes. But I think this could be a kind of a second option to actually buffing up SP and tokens. If Sideswipe is not really willing to buff the tokens, they can actually implement this idea, because I do think that this idea is pretty cool. So suppose we get 10 tokens and we spend the 10 tokens on an item. Now what's currently happening is that since these tokens are so hard to get, people are getting very let down when they get bad stuff from them. But if you are guaranteed to get a brand new paint or something we didn't have before, at least, right, at the very least, you would be guaranteed to get something new, which would definitely help in players feeling rewarded with the tokens they've spent. However, I do think that buffing tokens or making tokens easier to get is a better solution. But this is definitely also a pretty good idea. So huge props to Beer Me Up Scotty, a pretty good idea. So Dennis Kogel one day ago writes, rate my drip out of 10. So he wants us to rate his car. So taking a look at it, he has an unpainted octane, a llama wheel, standard boost, top llama topper and a loot llama decal. So this entire thing is like the basic preset you could make in the very beginning of Sideswipe last year when the game first launched. Because we got that crossover event and we could get all of these items. So it's a pretty basic car, but for what it is, I think it's a very, very cool design, but nothing too special. But if you want to go for simplistic and OG, I think this is a pretty good design. I would give this a fair 7 out of 10. So one more Rocket League card design, and this one is amazing. So World Class Chad 2 days ago writes, latest design, not that creative but sweaty. That's awesome. An all chromatic car, a chromatic Merc, chromatic hero wheels, a chromatic sunray and chromatic shuriken, and looks like he hasn't put any decal. So honestly, an amazing looking car. He would have grinded a lot to get here. I mean, the fact that he's managed to get 4 chromatic items is pretty impressive. It's not like he has much of an option, but I have seen better chromatic cars before, but this is definitely impressive. The fact that you were able to play so much to get all of this chromatic stuff, definitely respect the grind. That being said, I think I'll give this car a fair 9 out of 10. Eragon 578 2 days ago writes, I think they changed scoring. This is a doubles game. Good observation. They actually did change this in the current season. They've made it that the MVP and the close match games will actually give us more XP. So they've actually buffed up the amount of XP we get, which is obviously a very, very good thing. So now we can actually level up the Rocket Pass easier and more faster. So yeah, a pretty good change from Sideswipe in Season 7. So that's all for this episode 2 of Reddit Recap. We took a look at some posts on the subreddit and yeah, took a look at what people are talking about in the current season. I think it was pretty cool to see what everyone was, posting and discussing. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. So with that being said, guys, subscribe if you have not. And with that being said, I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.